Welcome everybody to today's CTC Civil Software webinar. Today we're featuring Sheet Generator for sites. We also have Sheet Generator for alignments. Today we're going to focus on our site Sheet Generator. As we go along today, if you have any questions, please put them in the question panel. We will get to them after the broadcast. And if you are watching this on our YouTube channel, which this will be posted to shortly after the webinar has concluded, you can ask them in the comments panel and we will get back to you with any questions you might have. So thank you for joining us today. My name is Tony Crick. I'm the Civil Product Manager here at CTC Software. So with that, let's get started. So Sheet Generator, we developed this tool to help lay out your sheets if you're doing a site development project. A lot of the setup you have to do now is manual and kind of tedious. So we developed this tool to help ease that. There aren't any other products out there really that do this, and we think it will help you get your site development done much quicker. So it's part of our CIM Project Suite of tools, which is intended for the everyday Civil 3D user, creating design and production drawings. Our current version is 26.2. So if you have our tools, and you haven't upgraded yet, that is available to you. I will show you how to get that in a few minutes here. And it will work in the last 4 versions of Civil 3D back to Civil 3D version 2022. So today we're going to show you, excuse me, how Sheet Generator can help you automate your plan creation without using alignments, which is different than the Civil 3D out-of-the-box view frames. And that will help you streamline all your sheet layouts for your site development projects or any other projects that you might need to create sheets for, which should help improve your consistency across all of your sheets and improve your design workflow. What Sheet Generator will do, as you can see on the ribbon right there, it's on the far right-hand side. It's going to help automate your site plan sheet creation. It's a 3-step process working from top to bottom, actually really a 2-step. The third one is just for updating if things change and you are using sheet sets. So it can help you create your grading and utility sheets quickly and eliminate the manual setup for your sheets. It will define your sheet boundaries, your viewports in essence, and apply consistent naming conventions across. And you will use a predefined template for the output. I'll show you how that works. So you can create entire sheet sets in minutes. We can do those both in the drawing and in a sheet set, and also on ACC if that's how you are storing your sheets. And it should help to reduce all of those repetitive tasks and help overall documentation accuracy, speeding up your workflows, and enhancing your productivity. So with that, let's jump into the Civil 3D and show you how this works. So it does have a few requirements. It's right here on your toolbar, as you saw from the PowerPoint. And I mentioned it's a top to bottom. So we need to create our site view shapes. Then we will create our layouts. And if you make changes, you can just update those. Those will write directly to your sheet set manager. If you're doing them in the drawing, you'll just recreate them. So to get started, from scratch, the first time you do it, you're going to open it up. You're going to get a blank. This one is not, but you will get a blank. We have included some default blocks to add to create. So if you haven't used our tools before, I'm going to run through this real quick to bore you, those of you that have. Remember the size and position of the window. Our help is right here, which will pull up our user manual. Videos, you can click this link. It will take you to our YouTube website with tool-specific videos, as with all of our tools. You can click the support if you need any help. And I mentioned we're on 26.2 right now. If you click the About menu right here, you'll see the version you're on. If you don't have 26.2, and if you're even older than that, I really suggest that you download the latest. We've made some improvements to Sheet Generator as well. So we also have this pull down right here. Pretty much the same thing, except you can get some suite licensing information if needed. So let me close this because there are a couple of things I mentioned we do have to have set up right away if you're going to create sheets. So you're going to need what we call as a template here. Which has the block to define our print area in it. That's this right here. As you can see, this will pull in by default. If you don't have it, you can create your own. That's just fine to make it work. Totally up to you how you do it. I would recommend that you use our block to start with and just edit it to fit your block, edit it to fit your needs. And you can plug it in also into different sheet sizes like this for an 11 by 17 if you're creating maybe lot exhibits or something to that effect. So if we open Sheet Generator, we're going to right away find the dialog box, the opening dialog box here. It's a set of 2 to create them. So we want to create our site group name. This is new, a new addition to the sheet for sites. So you're going to need to create a new one. So I'll just call this site grading. So I'm going to create my, I didn't spell that right. It's glorious. Site grading. Create my plan group. And once it's created now, it's going to be specific. Everything I do is going to be specific to that group. Okay, I can also delete any that I may have done before, such as that one. I definitely don't need that today because we're going to start from scratch. So we start by creating our group. Then we need to load our print block. That's what we saw in that template. Our default block is right here. If you push this button, you will automatically get it, and then you can create your templates down here, your layout templates. If you like, you can create all of your view shapes, and then when you get to the create, you can make that as well. And I will show you why that's important. So then the layer, we can pick from all the layers that are already in our drawing. If we don't have that layer, we can hit the create right here. Just know that it's going to have default line types, colors, and that type of thing, which you can always edit in your layers property manager later. Same with our view shape layer. So I'm going to put it on the print block layer. Actually, I don't think I want that one. I'll just do that for right now. You know what? Let's show you. Let's make one. I'm going to make one, and I'm going to call it underscore plan view shape. To show you what that looks like here. So we just created that one, and now we have some clip options right here. So this is how we will clip if we want to overlap our sheets in some sort of way. I will show you that in a second right here. So at the overlap and at the view shape, which we'll set on the next page, I'll leave it there for now. I'll say click to the next, and let's go ahead and I'll just give it we'll go 50 on the horizontal, 50 on the vertical, and now we can set our angle. So this is if we want to orientate it across our drawing like this. And by default, it's going to come as the drawing scale. So I can set my angle doing this. I can snap to this end, and I can snap to this end to get everything orientated squarely to there. Don't want to, don't have to. This will control the direction of your north arrow as well. And then our sheet block ID. So our sheet block has an ID in there which the program reads to create our layout. So I'm just going to put 101 to start on that one right there. And I'll say okay. Whoops, I should have shown you that too. So increment value by ones, you can set that however you want. Property field, you can have that fill in. Next counter if you want it to fill that in. Also, if you have several different groups in there, if you had a quadrants, let's say, or phases, you could use the plan group for phases in there. So here we have two options. We have inside a region and we have layout on a grid. We're going to focus on this one in this drawing. So inside a region. So then if I click here, it's going to want to, I don't know if you saw how it slightly deview twisted right there. But if I pick my region for that right there, if I want to lay my sheets out there, it's going to find all of the areas in the region that this sheet will fit. So we see it created those very quickly. We have our overlaps. If we liked it, we could go right on to create, but this one needs some editing, so I'm going to hit finish. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change that layer that we just made, plan view shape layer, to a different color because I don't like white. I like it something to stand out, so there it is right there. So here's that overlap that we talked about right here. So this is the block that came with it, and this is the overlap. So I set it at 50. If I do a distance check right here, we're going to see that that's 25. So what it does is it goes half the distance between the overlap. This is the overlap between our blocks. So we overlapped by 50. This goes by default right in the center of that overlap. And that would help if you wanted to put a match line or something like that in there. So now we need to do some editing of these layouts. And we can do it simply by just deleting them right there if that's what we want. But we also can do it in the create layouts if we have some that we don't like. You can also take, because this is essentially your viewport, we can also take this and we can edit these viewports however we want. This is now your viewport. Okay, so if I put that, move that up because I don't want these for sure in there. And it's really just a lot of extra space there that we probably don't need. So I'm just going to scooch those up like that. I'll drag these corners over just to include that portion of the drawing. I'll do the same on the way up here. And I'll only do a couple of them just so you can see the difference when we create them. Okay, so now with that, let me drag this one up too. So now with that, we've got our layouts completed for this. You can also rotate these, move these any other way you like. Actually, I see we missed some stuff here, so let's move that up. So I'll just do a select similar. It looks like we need to slide everything up just a little bit to get it all in there, and then I'll have to readjust. Looks like my layouts down here. So let's fix that. Fix that one. Okay. So now we have those complete, we can move to, oops, let's get that other alignment in there. We can move to our layout creation. So far pretty quickly done in that regard. I'll show you how to get rid of these, and then we can renumber those as well if we don't like that. So, and these numbers, these on these blocks, they come by default as a no plot. They're really just there for you to keep track of your layouts as you go through here. You can renumber these in any form you want. If you need to start up here, if you want to, but by default, it's going to go 1, 2, 3, and then this way, this way, this way. And you can change that anytime. I'll show you that here as we go along. So we hit the create layouts. That's standard. Same with Autodesk. Wants you to save those. And it flashed over there because I had it on my other screen. So we'll bring it back over here. So any groups that you have in there, it will know right there. It knows which one we just created, so it will default to that. It will also default to all of this, so you don't need to set any of that up again, except for the north arrow. You probably will. The first time I have to grab whatever you have, I have that on my sheet, and I already have the layer set for it. But if you have a different one in here, it will be available here. You can just scroll to it if you have one. There might even be another one. There is not. So that's that. We can grab that north arrow too if you want to add that one by default. You can. We also have our match lines that we can put in here. We have a default for that too. I will add that here just to show you. And then the next sheet number, I'm not really set up to do it. It's going to default count, but I'll set that anyway because it does have that built into the block. I don't have a flip state built into this though. And then the layer as well, we would want to set that. I'm going to put that on my C Anno match. Then the next page here is going to take us to our layouts. So if we want to plot them all, we can. I could leave those up there and just plot them, or just not plot them. So I can deselect those if I want to. I can also deselect them here if I want to just plot one of these sheets, and I can reselect all of these right here. I can also get rid of those if I need to. And then this is just a zoom to get us in closer to see what they look like, to see if you do in fact need those. So you see we're zooming into just those sheets right there. And I am going to delete those last three right here. We don't need them. They're just extraneous stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and delete them. I have our little tool tips right here, what to do. Then I said if you wanted to renumber these, you could do that as well. Reorder these, renumber these, whatever you wanted to do. Push them around with these controls here. So just to show you the renumbering, let's change these to, I'll just say we'll use a 500 series instead. Then if I hit the autofill, if I want them to go consecutively, I can just hit my autofill right there and you see they changed. Okay, so now I go to my next page. And then this is what we talked about as the templates that are in my layout space down here. So wherever you have that is what you want to grab for it to fit. So I'm going to use the site full, and then layouts per drawing is 10. I don't remember how many we had actually, so I would just bump it up to 15 because I don't think we have that. And then by default, it's going to come like this. We can do this whatever we want. I'm going to delete these out of there. Delete that. In fact, let's just say, I'll just say C dash. So this is what the layouts are going to number, and I'm going to insert that one. So there'll be C dash and the layout number, which I said was important, so it knows how to track those when it does it. So I can create those in the drawing. I can also go to a sheet set if I want to. I'm going to put these in the drawing right now to show you how quickly that happens, and then I just hit finish. And you see in the background, very quickly, it's making all of my sheets for me. And as it finishes there, it has now created all of these sheets. It's renumbered them as well. So if I come here to 501, I see that. And I could freeze that too if I wanted to freeze that so it didn't show up. It's showing up because of it's in my layouts. But here's the viewports we talked about. So now this is also a viewport. It is set to scale by default. All your other settings that it pulls in, the line weight's there. The north arrow is inserted. If I look at this, it should have a slight rotation. So it just rotated my settings to 1, slightly rotated, and everything is set up right there. So now you could add these to a sheet set if you wanted to. Here's my match lines. Right here, as I said, I don't have my numbering here. If I took that off, it would just point at 1, 2, 3, 4, and such. But I don't have this sheet set up to do that. I don't have any attributes or anything like that in here for it to follow, but you could certainly get it set up to do that. So as I go along here, we can see how all of my viewports have fit in there, and my match lines bubbles. These are defaults that will come by default. They will come in the mid portion between these two and point at the next one over. Okay, so pretty quickly, we've got that set up. We can edit as we please right now if we go through anything we want to do there. So let's jump to another site and see. This one, I think, is a little more from scratch. So we go through the same process, but this time I won't clip. I'll show you how that works. So let's just come back here and go through the same process again. So in this case, I'll do 2 groups. So I'll do one group on the north. So this one is coming all default, nothing is in here. Even though I have the block is in my layout tab down there, there's nothing here. So let's do this north portion. So I'll just call this north. I'll create that plan group. I'll add my default block. Should have a layer for that. View shapes. Not that one, this print block. Don't mix these up, by the way. It will still read it, but you might run into trouble down the road, kind of keeping track of it. So I would suggest that you have these on different layers. A different layer for your print block, a different layer for your view shape. So let's, the first time, we'll set this at view shapes to clip at. I'll go next. And again, I'll call this just 50 by 50. 50 by 50. Whoops. 50, not 05 today. And then let's set our angle again so that it lays out across here. So I'm going to pick from here to here because I basically want it to go this way. So again, by default, it's taking my drawing scale, which is different in this case. Let's start this section. I'll call this 201, starting at increment by 1s, name next counter, all good. And this time I'll go on a grid. So let me go on the grid. Whoops, hit the wrong thing. So it's telling me I didn't pick a region, so it can't place them. Whoops, and I did it. Sorry. On a grid. So I'm just going to pick about, I think it looks like I can get away with just 2 sheets there. I'll pick about right there and about right there. And now it laid them out. And you see how this time it overlapped. So I have a slight overlap here. I'll hit the finish here so we can look at it more closely. I'll hit the finish here, and you see now it's going to print this whole entire area from here to here, out to here. The print block is behind there. So you see the print block is in the same location as my view shape. So just if you wanted a little bit of an overlap, if you want to put a manual match line in there, whatever, whatever your workflow dictates. So now that we have that one, I'll do one for this lower portion as well. So open that up one more time here, and we'll create a new one for the south. I'll just call it south. And create it. And now it still remembers that the block was still there, so I don't have to load that, but it does clear everything out because I created something new, so I have to reset these. Once you do this once, it will remember everything that you did. So if you open it again, all of these settings should be defaulted there. So now if I leave this at overlap, I'll go next, and I'll leave it at 0 this time. We'll set the angle again. One more time, but this time I want them to go this way. So I'll grab here, I'll grab here, and this time I will do it on a grid. Again. So I could make sure I hit a whole bunch of stuff, or I can get it so it's kind of close. Let me just pick it right about out here, and I'll pick about out here. Again, just to show how we can move these around and delete these if we don't need them. So let me hit the finish right there, and actually that looks pretty good, except for we don't need all these. And so I will just delete these right here. That's just fine. The rest of it looks pretty good. I should have had a different number here probably, and that's okay. We can fix that at any time. In fact, I can do it just by relaying it out. So I will do that, as a matter of fact. Do that one more time, and I'll just renumber them. So you'll see how quickly this will go. I'll move through here, and before I put them in there, it's going to tell me that it's going to delete those, and if I want to. So I'm going to leave all the same settings. I'm just going to change this. I'm going to change this. Let's change this to 501. This time we'll count by ones again. I'll say okay, and let's reset those in there. So here's my warning that it's going to lose them. If at this point I wanted to have the two, save them, I could just go back and make a new group. I'm going to let it take them out of there. And then I'm going to replace them. Pick about here, say finish. And now it looks like this time I need to move a few of them. So let's move those. And they don't have to be right in line like this. I can stagger them if I need to. It's all in just how they are laid out here. So if I want to make sure that road fits onto there, I can scooch these around however I want. But if I'm going to use a match line, it's going to want to find that match line. So just that quickly, we created those. So this time, let's send those to a sheet set. So in the interest of time for this, that takes a little bit longer with the sheet sets. I'm just going to do these two here. And I can do both of these groups as separate groups as well. Let me pull this back over here. So now the same thing, by default, my last one was my south one, but I want to do my north one. I used pretty much the same stuff here. I'm not going to put a match line in this time, so I'll just deselect that or unselect it. And again, the same thing, if I wanted to renumber those again at this point, I could. I'm just going to next right through here because we're just showing you sending them to a sheet set. And it would be the same if you're using ACC. So again, it's wanting my template, which I have in here. It remembered my 15, everything. So this time I will pick into a sheet set, and then I just have to path to it. So I can just go grab it, and it's path to it. It will remember this path for you on subsequent runs of this. So now if I just go ahead and finish, it's going to create a copy drawing momentarily in the background, and that is going to send that sheet, that copy to your sheet set, and then it will save that sheet set, but the copy drawing you will never even know was ever there. Just a little bit on how that works, which works just like our alignment sheets. If you haven't used that, that also is a very productive tool. So this is what I meant by the delay here, because of the web broadcast. Takes a little bit more time than sheet sets do anyway, and now it opened my sheet set manager. By default, I just told it to use layout 1, layout 2 in the naming format for this one, and now it's my sheet sets are here. So now if I needed to update them for any reason, I could. And you see the north arrow has orientated. I didn't put match lines on, but you see the slight overlap right here. And these are no plot, by the way, as well. Unless you want them plotted, you could certainly do that. So that's creating in a sheet set, same formatting, same process if you want to write to ACC. So if that's how you do it, that's what you will do. So that's all I wanted to show you with that today. Jump back to the PowerPoint. And as I said, it's part of our CIM Project Suite of tools, currently version 26.2. We also have a manager suite of tools, more intended for CAD managers or those who are supporting a CAD production team. If you don't have it, you have any questions, you can contact us at ctcsoftware.com and see if your local reseller sells it. And as always, if you have any ideas, please contact us here at support. And we appreciate your ideas. We appreciate all of your feedback. All of our tools are built from suggestions that you have submitted to make your life better. So thank you for joining us today for the webinar.